In prison, one wrong move can change everything. I made a mistake. I blamed the wrong person for stealing from me, labeled him a thief. And because of that, the person who actually stole it got away for a little while. And the person who didn't do nothing, an innocent man, got brutalized. Twin brother over a package I thought he stole from me. But when I finally caught the dude slipping, man, I worked that mother over on the wreck deck real bad. He ended up taking a hospital trip. But I had to live with the consequences of blaming an innocent man for stealing something from me. And this is that story. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the W number. Tonight I got a great story. Man, as you could tell by the introduction, the thumbnail, this is a story about me making a mistake, bro. It's an honest mistake, but I ended up having the wrong dude crushed over something I thought he stole from me. But in all reality, it didn't go down like that. And this is what happened. In about 2017 or 18, actually, you know what? This could have been about 2016, right? I was in L1. I just got out of the hole for a fight, and they put me in the disciplinary detention unit. When I was down there in L1, there was a dude. He was lugging packs. So he had all the strips. He had everything going for him. And I was grabbing these strips off of him. And I was able to, send them to my friends up in N2, where my twin brother, Ryan, where he was at, and a few of my brothers. My twin brother was one of my brothers at the time too. Like he was riding with me at the time. Unfortunately, things changed over some personal, drama between me and him. But, that's family business. We can keep that out of here, right? So I'm sending these strips up there. And I'm making money off of it at the same time, not off of my friends, but off of the people that they're third partying it to. They're telling people like, look, and my brother could get him down here for this price. What's up? And I'm grabbing them. I'm shaving the extra money off that I charged them, and then I'm sending them up the strips. But everything's up and up. Like I don't play games, especially when it comes to business. I like to make money in prison, and the only way I could do that is by getting cozy with the connect with the lugs, grabbing it off of them for the cheapest price, and then reselling it so that the connect doesn't take the heat from grabbing it from the visiting room, coming back to the block, and then re-hustling it on the unit so everybody knows this is the dude with the drugs. They think it's me. They'll probably think it's me lugging because I'm grabbing all his strips and then reselling them for a cheaper price, cheaper than most of the people on the block were, or most of the people there were. That's why they were going from N2, reaching out to me down in L1 to grab these strips and then send them up. So I'm sending, one day I grabbed, I think it was a 5-pack, right? I got 2.5 strips. I'm cutting the pack in half. I already sold it to these guys up here. It was my brother, nonetheless, for free. Then my boy, we'll call him Ron, he paid for a half. Right. That whole entire half went missing. Then I sent my other friend a quarter for free. That quarter went missing. Then I sent somebody else a strip that they paid for. So a strip and a quarter made it up. And a half and a quarter went missing. It disappeared. So a half a strip, almost the whole strip just disappeared. I don't know this happened yet, right? So I'm getting messages coming through the toilet. Now, when it comes to toilet fishing, I'm gonna tell you exactly how it works so there's no way it could have went missing in the toilet unless it fell out of a pouch. And in that case, you'd have to be a real dumbass that never did it before to tie the pack so small that it would fall through a hole in the pouch. That's not going to happen. Anybody who's been fishing, anybody who gets high knows not to put the shit in the pack like that unless it's tied up really good and it's big enough not to fall out of the package. And then once it's in the pouch, you tie it up really good so that it's even tighter in the package. But what you do is you send a line down the toilet with a hook on it. And the other person sends a line down the toilet with about a foot by a foot flag from the laundry bag. You cut a square out the laundry bag and you tie it on the end of about however many lengths of sheet you'll need. It's 2.5 lengths of sheet for each floor. So you flush it down 2.5 lengths for each floor you're going. And there's about 4 or 5 floors depending on which block you're on, but the whole tier is all the way on the top floor, and there'll be about usually 4 tiers until you get to the whole tier. So there's 5 tiers on top of each other, and you can fish through the toilet going to each floor and each different block that you normally wouldn't have any contact with. So now I got these dudes sending me down kites from N2. So it's coming from N2 to the kitchen block in a kite and going down through the toilet to me. And it's saying like, yo, Maddie, I sent you a kite yesterday saying I never got that. Number one, I never got the kite. Then I get this kite saying I never got that, right? So then I get kites saying, hey, Maddie, I got that. Thank you. But this dude over here saying that something went missing, bro. I don't know what's going on down there. I know it's not you fucking around, but you might want to look into that. So I go over to the dude who's fishing it up. He's a good friend of mine, Worcester kid. Solid, been around for a long time, but he was mixed up in the drugs really bad. And you just don't know what a man is willing to do when they have no money. They're in possession of drugs. They're dope sick. They're fishing stuff up, but they're not vocalizing that to you so that you could break them off so they don't need to steal. They're not even asking or telling you because they know they're going to steal it. Now, I don't know if that kid stole it. I don't know if it was the kid up there or if they split it. But I know that it was one of them that stole it. So I go to the kid downstairs and I tell him, look, this shit never made it. I swear to God, I sent every single thing you gave me, Maddie, up there, bro. I ain't no thief. He's starting to get like a little brolic, maybe thinking I'm calling him a thief. And then technically, I am throwing him into the mix of this thievery. But that's just what's going to happen. When something goes missing, you need to ask everybody. Look them in the eyes and see what they say. You know what I mean? So I'm looking them in the eyes and I see a little bit of deception. But I don't know like if it's because he stole my shit or if he's working with somebody and he knows who stole my shit and they gave him something or something. But I know something he knows about it, right? But he tells me he sent it up to this kid named Bam. Now, this kid Bam, he's a gang member, but he's like really like kind of like a nobody. And he doesn't really bother anybody. He's been working in the kitchen the whole time I was there. And the prison kitchen is kind of like where they put all like the inmate people. Like dudes who work in the kitchen for the most part, not everybody, but they're following the rules and regulations of the institution. And that means when the COs tell them, don't put all that food on those trays, they're not going to feed the convicts right because the cops telling them not to, right? That's the type of shit that we had no respect for. Matter of fact, me and my boy Nick, we used to have an alliance, and if we saw anybody wearing the white prison jumpsuit, we smash them on site in the hallways. If you came to the hole and you were working in the kitchen before you got there, you didn't get the phone, you didn't get nothing from us on the tier. We wouldn't give you anything. There's dudes up there in the hole legitimately starving because of these prison kitchen guys. I'll make a whole video about it. But on this instance, this kid's working up in the kitchen, but we're out in population. We're not starving at this moment. This kid's not technically doing anything wrong. We haven't had any on-sites with him or any issues with him. But the kid downstairs tells me he sent it up to him. And now everybody's saying they never seen it after it went upstairs, right? Like that shit just went up there and went missing. I get the word Bam. He sent it up to Bam. Now I tell my brother to go find out who Bam is. Because my brother's in a chow hall block. And I'm like, yo, go find out who Bam is because that's who the package went up to, right? So we find out who the kid is, asked him a couple of questions like, yo, what happened? Now, the kid Bam says this when he's questioned about it. He says, nah, I gave it to a dude in the chow hall that worked in the chow hall that had a bald head and tattoos all over his head with a specific tattoo on his head. I hadn't seen it or remembered it at that point. But I'm like, yeah, all right, sounds good. Where's the dude? He couldn't find him. So when my brother comes up to him in the chow hall, tells him, find him. Who's the dude? Point him to me. He's like, oh, he's looking around. He can't even say. So my brother takes it as he's lying. He comes back. He tells me what happened. I'm like, nah, hell no. This kid's a thief, bro, right? And so the kid downstairs tells me it's got to be this kid, Bam. So I'm like, you know what? It's got to be him, bro. He's the last person who's seen it. It went up to him in the toilet and disappeared. It did. It went up to Bam in the toilet. But then Bam went and grabbed it and gave it to this kid he's a Spanish gang member, right? He gave it to him. And then that kid stole it. We didn't know this yet. We're all on this shit that Bam stole it, right? So I tell my brother, I'm like, I'm going to the yard and I want to hear a freeze up. When we're out there, bro, you're going to be, when you go to Chow Hall, I want to hear that freeze up. When they call Chow this afternoon, I want to hear a freeze up, bro. This kid's a thief. He stole from us. Like, fuck that shit, right? So Chow Hall time comes. Freeze all movements, clear all airways. Clear all airwaves and intercoms. We have an emergency. Freeze all movements. Clear all airwaves and intercoms. We have an emergency. And I'm like, yup, that's Ryan. And word comes down, yeah, my brother got lugged. But this beating wasn't just some beating. Ryan is a mixed martial artist. He's a pro fighter. He's got multiple wins in a pro octagon ring. And when he seen this kid in the chow hall, he threw him over his shoulder, smacked his head off the ground, beat the kid to his bloody pulp while the kid's screaming, I didn't steal your package. I didn't steal your package. And Ryan's like, yes, you did. Picking him up off the ground multiple times, slamming him down. Like, he beat the brakes off this poor kid, right? They go to the hole. Kid Bam sending messages down from the hole. I did not steal that package. I swear to God, Maddie, please. He's like, bro, you have to set the record straight. I didn't steal that package. He's like, I gave it to this kid in the chow hall, the bald head, and he gave me the specific tattoos on his head. Now, this shit's already done. Money paid. Kid's in the hole. The package got stolen. Kid got dealt with. We still didn't get the right dude, but something happened over it, and, therefore, people know don't steal from us because someone's going to get hurt, right? But in all reality, what does it really matter if it's the wrong someone? You know what I mean? The right someone's got to get hurt in order for the message to be clear. So fast forward years. I'm in the block, right? And I'm chilling and I see a kid with a bald head and the same tattoos on his head. But it doesn't ring bells in my head at the time that he's the actual kid who stole it, because this kid who I'm talking about had just got back from DDU. He had just, he was working out. He's like, he was a gang member. So he was like, you can't be a gang member and have this type of shit floating around, thievery or anything like that. You'll get terminated. Like, they don't play that shit, right? Sometimes they do let it slide. Like, they'll let you stay on and violate you and then pay double what they stole back or whatever. And this was what they told me they would do that night. They would give me double back and they would let me watch while they fucked them up. But I'm telling them, like, look, this is what happened in that night. This is what happened when I finally ran into the dude who actually stole it, right? So I get up to N2. I see the kid. He's got the bald head with the same tattoos on it. But I don't initially do something right away because I'm not sure if this is the actual kid. I'm not about to keep on making more mistakes. I feel like I got the wrong person hurt by, doing an investigation and listening to the people that might have stole it. Now, I don't see these other kids after that. They had me in a disciplinary unit. They moved me up to my regular unit, and with that other kid. So this is like, I'm talking about 2 years later. So this kid's now a runner. The one who has the tattoos on his head, the bald head, he's now a tier runner. So he has access to go back and forth between the units. And I tell him, I'm like, look, my boy just got out of the hole over here. I pull him in my cell, and I had caught him stealing from another kid on my block 2 weeks before this, made him give me a half a strip, or if not, I was just going to go up to the kid, out him right in front of him, and then he could do whatever, bro. We could beat his ass because the kid he stole from was a white kid, but he was a lame. He was a vicious lame, and I was strong-arming that kid. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. I don't condone that type of shit. But you're going to give me a half a strip or else this shit's going to go to hell right now. Like, you ain't just stealing and shit. I wouldn't have went up and snitched on him to the kid, but I definitely would have pounded him out just because I would have had to. You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to do? I caught the kid stealing. I'm not going to go weasel him out. Like, he did it. He stole it. Wrong or right. That's what happened. And then this kid, I pull him in the cell. I tell him, look, I know you're not stupid enough to steal from me. He's like, nah, Maddie, I would never steal from you, bro. I would never steal from you. I said, all right, bro. Well, in that case, this was going to have to happen. I'm going to give you this coffee bag, and I'm putting this package right in here. I opened up the coffee bag in front of him. I dropped the kite with the Suboxone inside of it in the coffee bag, and I closed it up, and I gave it to him. I said, now, get over there to this block. Couple days go by, my boy sends me a kite. Maddie, you going to send me some coffee and some Sobo, bro? Like, what's up? I just got out of the hole. And I'm like, what? I just sent you some. I said, what do you want me to send you some every day, bro? Like, I don't have it like that. And he's like, what? He's like, I never got anything. So I go and I investigate again. I send somebody over to the next tier. I have the yard worker go out and talk to the guys in P2 off the rec deck and ask my boy if he got that package straight up so that I'm not hearing it through a kite, and I want to hear his words. So then the words come back. Yeah, the kid came over the day before that after I approached him and asked him what happened to my package. And he brought a bag of coffee over to P2, tried to slide it to one of the black runners and tell him, look, if anybody asks you, tell him I gave this to you yesterday. That black runner took that coffee, sent it back to me, saying, look, Maddie, this is what happened. This kid came over here trying to tell me I gave this to him yesterday. I'm sending it back to you. I don't want nothing to do with it. Then I get word from the yard, you know what I mean, saying that he tried to give that bag of coffee to the black runner, and I got everything I need, right? This dude definitely stole it. He definitely tried to pass it off like he didn't do it, giving him the bag of coffee the next day. And now I'm sitting there. It's Sunday night. I'm waiting for someone to go out to the visitor room to grab a package that we were waiting on. He had some strips on the street that were mine. He owed me 10 strips, so I'm waiting for those on the visit. The visits come. It doesn't happen because I guess they put him in the wrong seat or something. He couldn't get it. I'm like, fuck it. I'm going tonight. So one of my boys goes to the while I go into the shower and tells him like, look, yo, this is what happened, and my boy's probably gonna end up fighting this dude tonight. So when I come out of the shower, I'm walking past the cell. I look over and there's a squad of them. There's like 10 of them in the cell, and they're like, yo, Maddie, come in here. And I got my sneakers on because I bring my sneakers to the shower. In the max, you wear your sneakers to the shower. You don't wear your flip-flops on the unit because that's just the easiest way to get snuffed out. And if you get stabbed with your flip-flops on, you're not going to do so hot. You might die. So you don't wear your flip-flops anywhere but in your cell and in the shower. And when you're in the shower, you lock the door or have someone stand there, especially when it's in times of distress. But I just lock the door. I just pull the shower shut, and then when I'm ready to go, I bang on it and tell the cops to open it. That's what happens. I tell them to open it. I come out. They're in the cell. They say, well, Maddie, come here. I said, let me just go get ready. I went and I tucked my little bit of Sobo in my ass, and then I went back to that cell, and they're like, yo, look it. They have that kid in there. He's as pale as a ghost. He's admitting to stealing it. He's admitting it. He didn't even deny it. Kid straight up said, yeah, I did it, bro. I'm fucked up. Right? So they're like, look, we're going to make him pay you back that shit that he stole plus double. And we're going to beat him up and let you watch. But they didn't want to let me fight him. Long story short, I ended up arguing with him for a long time. 2 different meetings, big meetings. And it's just long story short, I said it's non-negotiable. I'm going to end up fighting him. It's either we could do this like men. He stole from me, and like a man, I'm going to fight him. That's it. You don't get to steal and then get beat up. I don't care about the drugs. I have those. I want my revenge. I want you to know that you can't do that ever again, bro. Because if you let something like that slide one time, it's just a non-stop thing in there, bro. People are going to take advantage, right? So I just said, fuck it, bro. Send him out to the rec deck. I went out to the rec deck, and I crushed him so bad, bro. When the Ips called me down to the office after the fight happened, they didn't lug me that night. They lugged me the next day at Chow because they had to come and pick him off the rec deck with the stretcher and bring him straight to the hospital and put him on advanced life support because he was damaged goods, bro. I beat the brakes off this kid, and when I was beating him, I knew in my head, you got the wrong man beat up for your little thieving junky ass. So now this is your penance, buddy. And after I was done whooping him out, he's on the ground, can't even stand up. He busted my shit too. He hit me with a slip and slipped me and fucking busted my eye open. And I'm out in the court, and I'm like, was it worth it? And he said, yep. Well, with that said, man, I appreciate everybody for showing up. I hope you enjoyed that story, man. W number out.